say for sure that the two are linked?
You can never be 100% sure when you conduct a statistical study, but we believe we have pretty good evidence. And the evidence rests on several foundations. So the first is a theoretical expectation. We would expect that the atmosphere moisture content would increase. So relative humidity stays roughly the same, but the specific humidity, the amount of water vapor in the atmosphere per cubic meter of air, increases with temperature in a predictable way. Observations of changes in moisture content show that that has been happening. So if we have an atmosphere that contains more moisture, that means there is more moisture available for heavy precipitation events when they occur. That's what we have been observing. It's what is predicted by our climate models. And when we compare the climate models with the observations, we see that there's a reasonable correspondence between the two. We've also asked whether or not the observed changes in extremes could be explained simply by natural internal climatic variations. And the answer there seems to be no. So the observed trend is large, statistically significant, and very difficult to explain by invoking simply natural internal variability on the climate system.
And these models that you've been working with, have you allowed them to run further into the future, if you like, as greenhouse gases do keep accumulating in the atmosphere?
Yes, these and many other models have been run into the future, necessarily using scenarios of how greenhouse gas emissions might change over time. And what you see in all of those simulations is a strengthening of precipitation extremes. Virtually everywhere in the world, we anticipate that intense precipitation will become more intense as time goes along. Even though in some parts of the world we expect that the total amount of precipitation will decrease, in other parts of the world, total amount of precipitation will increase.
So let me see if I've got this right. Even if the amount of rainfall that an area gets overall is less as the climate warms, the rainfall that they do get may well be more extreme.
Extreme events may well intensify. You can think of a relatively dry part of the world. Because the atmosphere is warming, evaporation in that part of the world will increase, and the moisture content in the atmosphere over that region will increase, even though the tendency to actually rain decreases. But when it does rain, because there's more moisture available in the atmosphere, you could expect that those events to become more intense.
And then that could potentially lead to more things like floods?
That has the potential to lead to more floods, to create situations that are damaging and stressful.